will also be put up on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/specdota. That's SPECDOTA.
That's the place to go if you want to see all of the mid-level to low-level Dota games.
We did have a good game last
here.
night. I would say it was high middling level.
High middling, yes.
Yep.
Leon's Eyes is the team here.
Oh, we actually have a
go
team.
check. Oh, well, I'm gonna check if it's a legitimate team. Later on, I can't view it now, but somebody has assigned their team name, for sure.
Well, I don't think it appears as a team unless all 5 members are in, does it?
No, it does. It does. I've done it before.
Okay.
I actually did it in an in-house game. I made it our team, the Thundercocks.
Oh yes.
And then I was actually auto-balanced to the other team. So 5 random people
We're on our
got to be
team.
called the Thundercocks. Yeah,
Those bastards, they're stealing our name. I was just so depressed when the first team thing came out. I started up Dota straight away to try and get the name, finding mongooses, and it was already taken. It was an outrage. As we all know, the best team name, the Fighting Mongooses.
I would have immediately attempted to take Na'Vi and then sell it back to them.
I think they already had it. To be honest, they had early access to the team modes.
Yes. Maybe they forgot.
It would be a bit of an oversight for them not to take their team name.
And we see our Lifestealer picked up by Leon's Eyes. I'm eternally bored of this hero.
I'm sorry, just the next picked up by Leon's Eyes. They lock gazes from across the room. Leon, filled with with lust for the Lifestealer.
Look at him. Look at the eyes there. They're majestic.
The eyebrow half raised. We see a lone druid come out to try and deal with the Lifestealer. I do like this counter to the Lifestealer. Unfortunately, if it does come down to a 1 vs 1 lane, then Nakes comes out ahead because he's able to just whack on that bear to gain all of the harass damage back.
Yeah, Snakes is the embodiment of an abusive lane partner.
I've got to say, his teeth are really messed up. Like, is there no orthodontist in the Dota universe?
He needs some orthodontic work on that lower jaw, and I think he's missing his upper lip there.
Yeah, I was going to say, even part of that lip either maybe being caught in between his teeth or connected, possibly. Some
5 seconds
horrible burn
sort of
victim full of teeth.
I honestly, I don't know his backstory. I haven't read the lore, but I don't imagine it's going to be pleasant.
No, you really don't think it would be. And we see the Gyrocopter also being picked up. They've really kind of shown their cool heroes really early in the draft, so probably going to be some heavy counter picking coming out.
Dire team
yeah, Gyro you pick 2 counter.
Weaver
not
picked
usually.
up. So it looks like we're going to see an offlane Weaver this game. I do like her in the offlane. The Sakuchi really gives them a lot of escape power and just general kind of harass damage. Shika Shika.
You know its name is Shika.
Shika Shika. Ooh, yeah. Shika.
Yes. Weaver can be a very nasty hero, very annoying to deal with.
Yes, indeed.
And the Shadow Demon coming out. Pretty good counter to that Lifestealer.
If they get the disruption off in time, it does take him out of the fight for a long time and causes his positioning to be really messed up. And as we know, for a Lifestealer, positioning is everything.
And brings some nasty Lifestealers to fight him, to whack on him a bit. Stronger he gets, the harder he falls.
Indeedy. I'm gonna say that the Lifestealer Leshrac combo are gonna be 2/3 of a tri-lane. And you can see the Radiant side banning out the Lena. I'm not quite sure why they would...
She is one of the strongest heroes in the current meta. Especially when combined with a hat that I've never seen anyone but me use.
Oh, I have seen it actually. Someone had it in a recent game we had and they fed terribly. So I don't think your hat strat really works out there, Bruno.
Well, it's not as good as the no legs strat. I mean, that's no legs is still the key strat. But
now, would you say Gyrocopter had legs or not? He does. You know, you use a plane, so
legs.
Yeah, but
No, he's got legs, and he's using them too. There's going to be foot controls in that thing.
Probably. See, Lena wasn't
What,
part
you
of the
think he's
no-leg strat because she just floats along. They're just useless appendages.
Yeah, Lena was part of the no-leg strat because she has 2 legs, but she doesn't use them.
True. But, you know, you
She's
see...
too good for the ground.
But the thing is, so many of Gyro's controls are on the pedals. You see him attacking with those levers all the time, so... Who knows? Maybe he doesn't have foot pedals. Maybe he's an amputee from a previous war and he's using his stumps, and they don't count as legs.
I think he might actually be what's known as a gnomiopus, which is an octopus on the bottom, so that's why he can use his many legs to control the copter there.
You crazy man.
I'm gonna have to go get somebody to draw that for me.
If anyone's listening in on the
Gyro
stream
looks like.
or sees this later in the VODs, please draw us a gyropus. I will make that a splash screen. He'll just hang out in the top corner for the rest of the cast we do.
And we've missed the entire rest of the casting, but who cares? Because that
And a
image is
Bloodseeker picked up by the Radiant. I love Bloodseeker.
I like it because it'll destroy that Storm Spirit if he moves.
And
while
destroy
he's been,
No, it doesn't actually, because he is invulnerable during the ball lightning
really?
phase.
I thought it would still affect him. Alright, well.
But
never
it
mind.
does hard counter the Weaver. You can silence her so she can't Sakuchi or time-lapse, and the rupture damage, if she does decide to, can be extremely fatal.
Is Weaver female?
I always switch up between he and she, because originally in Dota it was a female, but I believe in Dota 2 it is male.
I see. Hard to tell with the insects. If they
We'll
don't
have to
tits,
take a
I'm just not
close
sure.
look at the mandibles.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, yes. But then again, the Storm Spirit has tits and he's definitely a male, so...
We definitely need a
exceptions to
Reeves
the rule.
bra item in the shop.
He does need a Reeves bra. I think somebody made one, but it hasn't made it into the game just yet.
Possibly.
Because it gives him just too much support, and it's it's just unfair. Storm Spirit with that much support.
I know.
We have no idea who Mike is, do we?
No idea.
No idea. And of course, anyone who's
Apparently
listening
hasn't
to
heard
our
of P.
channel, not theirs anyway, so
Oh, definitely. Our channel, best channel.
it's completely irrelevant.
As for laning, let's see. I'm gonna say that the Gyrocopter is gonna be in the easy lane with the Bane and Shadow Demon tri-lane. Bloodseeker gonna go mid lane, and the Lone Druid off lane.
Oh look, there's a Bastion announcer and a Frostivus announcer.
Frostivus HUD. I'm gonna put on the HUD. Ooh, look
Ooh.
at that. Ooh, so
I'm
chilly.
turning it on just to look fancy.
I'm gonna say I hope Storm Spirit doesn't use it, because otherwise might poke someone's eye out.
Haha!
Over here. We do see... I don't even remember their draft. I'm terrible at this.
We had a Storm Spirit, and a Weaver, and a Leshrac, and a Lifestealer, and the last one was a...
Hey.
what the hell was it? What did they pick? I don't remember. I don't know. Oh, it was a Sand King. It was a Sand King. Oh, it was a Sand King. I knew it.
Okay. Alright then.
And he doesn't have a fancy tail, so I'm just very disappointed.
No fancy chode tail for the Sand King.
Well, he needs his pincer tail, otherwise he can't use it to pinch nipples of the Storm Spirit there. That's... Holy shit! If anyone's listening, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Alright, carry on.
And we're back in on the Radiant Tire side. We've got J-Bone New Zealand on the Bloodseeker heading mid. We have a Supershot on the Lone Druid, Bigglesworth joining us once again on the Shadow Demon, Garbled on the Gyrocopter, and a Fried Bean taking the Bane.
And over on the side of the Dire, we have Topher X, or X-Topher rather, going on the Lifestealer. The Weaver being picked up by Green. Ugh, come on. t.totomoflowmotonight. Okay, so t.totomoflowmotonight.
I left that one for you on purpose.
You bastard. Jequito up on the Storm Spirit and 5 on the Sand King. We'll see if he will love this Radiant side 5 ever. And apparently our good friend Tim Stanley is watching the game. I don't know whether he's watching it or watching the stream.
Either way, shout out to Stanley.
Shout out to the Stanley. Unfortunately, there are no heroes. Oh, he's going to be spotted out. Is they going to get the open wins? No, he's going to go out of range.
Absolutely nobody taking advantage of that. Very unfortunate. Very upsetting.
And the pull ward goes
down.
down.
Somebody might be going to grab that.
Up. Fiend
items,
Bean.
Mr. Spectre, what do we think?
And what, sorry?
Starting items, what do we think?
Looks like Lone Druid's gonna go for the Tranquil Boots early on in lane. Standard Quelling Blade, Stout
Bane
Shield
find
from
the
the
track.
Bloodseeker. Ooh!
He's
been nightmared. And he is gonna get out of that. A haste rune up on the Leshrac.
Oh, he does have that haste.
So even if he was disrupted, I think it's an easy getaway. Meanwhile, the Nakes farming up but missing everything so far. He gets one! Yes! The Crow goes wild! 2. And we do see the Bloodseeker and Storm Spirit mid. I'd really like to see Storm Spirit abusing the Static Remnant for when Bloodseeker goes in for the last hits. Bloodbath is really a very good skill for him to take mid because he does regen so much health. And a bit of a spam on the Blood Rage coming out from the Bloodseeker there. Oh, it looks like we have some action up top. The Weaver's going on the Lone Druid, but he eats his way out, but the Weaver follows him. Oh, probably another 2 auto attacks will do it, but he's getting slowed down by the Orb of Venom Bear, and he's going to have to go off on this, or the Bear's going to be able to take him down.
No use crying over
Goes
spilled
back up,
blood.
and of course, I missed the first blood happening bottom. And it looks like we might get a kill on 5 with the Rocket Barrage coming out from Gyro. One more auto attack does do it. They're going to move on to the Nakes now. We've got a 5-second cooldown and disruption. I don't think it's going to be off in time before they can go in. With the Nightmare also being out of mana for Bane.
2 kills there. One going to the Shadow Demon, one going to the Gyrocopter. Giving a convincing early lead to this tri-lane.
There I was too busy watching the Pro Jukes 420 by Lone Druid.
Too many Pro Jukes.
And we see the Storm Spirit starting to push out the lane a little, but it looks like Creep Equilibrium is pretty much perfect in the center here. Bloodseeker really abusing that Blood Rage to get Storm Spirit down.
No.
The lead farmer is going to be the Lone Druid up on that off lane, using the bear to last hit as well as his hero. He can create a bit of space and take the Weaver off, but it looks like his bear... No, his bear's going to be alright.
And he's going to resummon that bear, so it's going to be fine.
Looks like he's going to do a bit more harass damage on the Weaver.
Call it back.
Now, in the mid lane here... Shika shika! We see the Bloodseeker actually top of the last hits at the moment. He's running 8 and 7, so quite a few denies as well. We can see the Storm Spirit is slightly behind in experience.
This Bloodseeker has got his boots coming out to him now.
And
Hasn't hasted the courier though, so they're coming a bit slow.
And the Radiant Sentry Ward placed down earlier to take off this pool camp, they haven't spotted it, just in the trees there. So this is why the lane's pushing up, and really Gyro isn't getting much farm at all because they're unable to abuse that pool. And the Weaver does go down to the Lone Druid, who has 60 health, but he does finish up those Tranquils. That Weaver is very angry that he didn't have any kind of TP support. But at this stage, you really don't want to be rotating someone out of the tri lane to just get a kill on the off lane Lone
He's
Druid.
gonna come in with that Jequito now, try to get this Lone Druid, but it's just not gonna happen.
And he's just taking so much harass. So we've got a bear with Entangle. If he gets a hit here, it's going to be the death of the Weaver. And Weaver actually
He's going in for him
offensively, but he goes back. Problem with this Weaver, she's just so squishy. She's only got 540 health. If we see an Entangle come out from the bear, it's going to be basically a dead Weaver with her current HP. So I don't see how she can stay on this lane at the moment. She does attack the bear. Really needs to get those boots up, or even Lone Druid get some boots on the bear so you can properly chase. It looks like they're going to go in on the bottom lane. The Shrek does eat that tree here. I don't know if people know it, but if you do eat that, it gives you access to the secret shop if you're on Dire, or even the Radiant. You can go for some backstab kills and surprise them from the fog. A personal favourite bush of mine to eat.
Ah.
And the Weaver again going on the Lone Druid, who is sitting in his ultimate form now just for a bit of extra tank. It will kind of limit the harass that he can get on the Weaver though, aside from that bear.
Yeah, and the Lone Druid is actually the first one to hit level 6.
Yeah, the early kill, the early solo kill really working out well for him. Even though the Radiant did get the 2 kills up bottom. Split through.
He's looking to find that Weaver.
And Weaver without level 6 yet, if he manages to get this Rupture off and Lone Druid is nearby, it's going to be a dead Weaver.
Looks like he's giving up and heading home. Bit of a wasted walk there.
I really think he should have stayed up there and waited for Weaver to come out.
Oh, for sure. Not worth it to give up on the gank that easily.
And he also doesn't stay near the rune spot just as the 6-minute mark's approaching. And we do see a regen spawn up on top. Although Bloodseeker
probably wouldn't have been able to take advantage of it anyway.
Yeah, Bloodseeker not running a bottle. He's not really a bottle hero, but he still does want to deny those, especially a regen rune. He wants to deny them from the Storm Spirit. So even if you aren't running a bottle mid, it's still important rune control, especially with.
He's gone up there to grab it now.
So we see Leshrac waiting on the top of the hill and Sand King rotating in. It looks like they're going to try and get aggressive on this Bloodseeker. I believe a Radiant Ward spotted out the rotation, but we do see the coming in, and the stuns stack slightly there for the Leshrac and the Sand King. Rupture coming out on the Sand King, and he's going to go down to tower damage. Shadow Demon comes in, but he's eating a lot of damage from the Leshrac. The Soul Catcher Disruption combo. Is Leshrac going to go down with the extra damage? 3 ticks of poison damage, and he's gone. Some excellent play from Bigglesworth coming there with the defensive TP coming in. It's now 5-0 in favor of the Radiant, and we see them ahead 1.5k in the experience and around 2.5k in gold. So really quite a good early lead here. They've got the levels and farm up on their core heroes, the Lone Druid and the Bloodseeker. The Gyrocopter is not really far behind the Dire farmers, so even though he's not farming as well as he could, he's still definitely in contention to fight off those solos. As I say that, he gets open wounds and this follow-up stun by the Sand King. One more auto attack and the Gyro will be taken down by the Nags.
Yeah, this Lone Druid on top lane is just dominating the farm.
Oh, and we see an Entangle come out on the Weaver, but he doesn't chase.
He loses his shika.
Shika. Shika.
Mana for further shika.
We see a Leshrac rotating in, but
serious trouble.
But they really don't have the damage for it. Like Lone Druid in his ultimate form with Tranquil Boots, he's sitting at 13 armor and 1.3k health.
Got an invisible Shadow Demon walking in as well.
They would have spotted it out with the ward here. So they probably have seen it and are backing off, but the Weaver's staying in, and she's very low on mana. Still Now the Sakuchi's gone, she has no more for another one. Rupture comes out on the Leshrac, and this is going to be the death of the Leshrac. Weaver now with no mana to Sakuchi out.
Getting beat down.
We've got 2 poison stacks, so we're really hoping for an entangle with the bear. He's going to micro the bear, but he's not going to chase it.
You know the drill.
Weaver's come in for a kill. Looks like he's going to get the Shadow Demon, but if we see even one entangle hit, it's going to go down. And he manages to Sakuchi away. The Shika too strong.
Stormshark coming in at the bottom trying to look for a pick off. He's not going to find it. They're going to go on the Bloodseeker.
Oh, and Gyrocopter pops his Rocket Barrage a little too early, and it's wasted on the Rage Snakes. Storm Spirit does pick up the Bloodseeker with some help from the Leshrac stun, chaining the Vortex and Split Earth. We do see 1.2k up on the Storm Spirit. For him, I don't know what item he'd really go for. The Orchid would be quite good for picking off Bane, and also kind of disabling his usefulness in team fights. Especially seeing as his ultimate is most likely going to be coming out or on either the Nakes or the Storm Spirit. The Fiend's Grip, a really good counter to that Nakes, being able to just hold him for the duration, or most of the duration of Rage.
Looks like Shadow Demon's found himself a Leshrac. He's going to back off though, not knowing who's around. DD Rune is top. I'd like to see the Lone Druid go and pick that up on his bear.
And he does have phase boots up on his, so we do have quite a lot of mobility on that now.
Picks it up on himself though. The bear can take the runes, right? I'm not.
Yeah, no, the bear can take the runes, and it does affect him as well.
No, I would have put it on the bear.
Yeah, especially with the extra mobility with the phase boots. If he got an entangle on the Weaver.
Resummoned it. Yeah, probably resummoned it first and then got it.
Yeah. It looks like he's going to send the bear back to base to heal. Meanwhile, Bloodseeker goes down middle again to the Chain Stun combination. Or maybe not even the Chain Stun combination. It looks like Split Earth isn't on cooldown.
Weaver on the bottom here, just waiting for the next to come in close enough for him to go on him.
Radiant Ward spots out the rotation from Leshrac and Sand King. So Shadow Demon and Gyrocopter should really back off this lane. Our top farmer is still the Lone Druid, but the next 3 are now, kind of, Gyrocopter and Weaver are tied now, but the next 3 or 4 yeah, are on the dire side, and they are on the core heroes of Nakes. And the Storm Spirit. You see the Nakes going ahead, and they have the open wound. Will the stun hit? No!
Oh, there is a Ravage on the... Oh.
The Rupture and Silence coming out. And the Rocket Barrage kills off the Leshrac before he can TP out.
Got a few ticks of Shadow Poison on this. Lifesteal, but he's just going to retreat back behind the tower.
Yes, indeedy. I am quickly going to order pizza, so you might want to take over casting for the moment.
Radiant's mid tower.
That is, of course, an appropriate time. Of course, nobody can see where I'm casting.
Yeah, I was going to say, I really hope that I can set up directed camera, but it's only available in I don't know, in the actual spectator view once it's done. I'm just going to put my camera sort of near this bottom tower because there are so many heroes around it.
It sure is. We're seeing a team fight going on here. It looks like an open
call down from the gyro, but he is going to go down.
Going to bring him in.
Alright, pizza time. I'll be right back.
Righto, Storm Spirit's going to go on this Bloodseeker. He has no hope in hell.
2 down.
And that's 3 down to the Dire, taking down the Radiant there. They're coming back a little bit.
94811111 Pizza Hut delivery.
That's not the number anymore.
If you call it, they tell you that they have a different number, but screw that noise. It's always 94811111. Like, their marketing was too good with that.
Pretty sight right now.
And we've got this tier 1 tower going down on the Radiant side, melting under the weight of that Leshrac.
Melting.
Under that cosmic, what is he? He's some sort of space deer.
Space deer.
He's definitely a space deer.
I've just noticed on the stream if I've got a DotA tabbed out of it, just kind of freezes where the frame was. There's a lot of action going on the screen, so I'm sure it's really thrilling for the viewers.
Oh, it is, I'm sure.
You know,
And I'm describing it to them. People are moving around. There's little heroes moving all over.
it's like watching tennis on the radio. And the man hits the ball to the back right corner.
He's just going to shop. Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Weaver going bottom to continue his streak of being a pansy. Oh, they've noticed this Bloodseeker illusion and they're very afraid of it. Storm Spirit looks like he's going to be wrapped around. Oh, and he gets hit by the bait and he has no hope in hell.
And the pizza is ordered! Oh, and people are right where my camera was before. And the cooldown coming up, but it's a horrible cooldown. He misses the Weaver completely. Oh, actually, no, the second one
is
hits.
far more interesting.
Okay,
Mid lane
alright.
is far more interesting right now.
Lone Druid takes down the tower, and it looks like he is going for the Armlet Bear build. Already picking up the Gloves of Haste and the those things.
Well,
Claws of Attack.
You never
Blades of Attack.
know, he could be going for the 20-minute Midas bear build.
He could be.
That's another option.
A very, very potent build. I'm just going to take a quick look on the supports. It doesn't look like we have any detection here. Kind of a bit of a blunder on their side because...
Shadow Demon going down very quickly, manages to save himself with the disruption.
Oh, and the Weaver has been silenced, but there is no capitalization on the fact. The Gyrocopter probably going to be going down to Edict damage, and the Storm Spirit zaps in and takes him down with an auto attack. Yeah, this Radiant team really needs to carry some Dust or Sentries with them. It's really going to hurt them a lot if they can't see the Weaver in the fight to get a lockdown with either a Bane ultimate. Really, I'm going to say there are so many targets that the Bane should be hitting. I think it's going to be hard for him to properly prioritize.
Tower's in bad shape.
The armlet is completed on the Spirit Bear. For people who don't know, it can actually activate the component. Oh, and it looks like the Bear's basically going to get a solo kill here with a lucky second hit entangle on the Leshrac. But the Bear, when he does have that armlet activated, it doesn't take off health, but it does provide him with the extra damage, strength, and health regeneration.
Top tower for the Radiant.
So he gets 5 extra armor, and his HP regen is plus 10.1, as you can see on the screen there. So it's actually quite a good item for the Bear.
Keep in mind as well, the Thirst on the Bloodseeker is going to help them spot out this
And we
Weaver.
do see the Bane ultimate come out. Hopefully we can see an Entangle come out. No, but the burst damage from the Gyrocopter is enough. A cooldown coming out, a beautiful cooldown for the Gyrocopter there. And Sand King channeling his ultimate, hitting the 2-man. Excellent ultimate there through the fog by Sand King, but it looks like he might go down for his trouble. The Soul Catcher coming out on him, and he does go down to the Lone Druid attack damage. Oh, and we do see... And we do see the problem with that Bear there. The Lone Druid does TP out. So all in all, I believe that was a 3-for-3 trade. So quite even. At the end of that fight, we see the XP continuous on a bit of a down and up spiral. Really, it's quite jagged, but 2k in the favor of the Dire side now. And the gold starting to claw back. It's 1k in favor of the Radiant still, but they really are making some ground here. We might be seeing a turnaround from the early game farm.
Yeah, solid game. A lot of pinks coming out on mid. They've spotted out this Leshrac.
Storm Spirit has picked up and bottled it in
Invisor, and he's going to get the double damage at the same time.
The disruption coming out on the Leshrac. They're going to position the Bear. The Soul Catcher coming out as well. This Leshrac is going to go down to Bear damage. Popping down a sentry.
Was left, right, and center to try to find that Storm Spirit.
But unable to find him. Oh, it looks like they found him again. And the Weaver gets ruptured. He does time lapse. But he hasn't realized that Rupture stays on him. Timelapse does not remove Rupture. He's already down to half HP again.
Somebody's cooking.
Meanwhile, an excellent call down from the gyro takes out someone, but instantly the kill and an entangle on the Nakes, a double kill. And with the low mana of the Storm Spirit, he really needs to bottle up and zap out. Oh, but another entangle!
6 in a row.
Real root gaming coming out from the lone druid. RNG gods in his pocket. Where does a bear even have
Very
pockets?
lucky entangles. He's going to swap back into his not true form, I suppose.
That would be because he's activated Tranquil, so percentage-wise he heals
Someone's
more
having
health.
technical difficulties.
Of course, of course.
So a good little trick if you do
Does
pick up the
leave him a little bit
Tranquils.
vulnerable to ganks, though.
And we do see the Sand King coming in. He doesn't have a blink, and he's not close to it either, to be honest. He's still 1.4k off. Hopefully he can get some assists in.
While this druid's in his not true form, though, it's he's at a bit of a risk from this SK.
He is a little bit, but with no other support coming in, I don't think he'll be able to get a solo kill. He may be able to stun and go into ultimate. If the bear doesn't get a lucky entangle off, he might be able to get the kill. But it would take some massive, massive sandy balls.
Well, if there's one thing we know that Sand King has, it's massive, massive sanity balls. That's actually
Shadow
an item I'm
Demon.
releasing soon.
Trying to counter push a bit on the bottom lane with the Shadow Poison is very low on health.
And here we have some of our fellow casters seemingly unable to shut up.
We're just going to take a quick look at the items now. The Bloodseeker, really not much item progression from the mid game. I think he's been sitting on much the same items for about 5 or 10 minutes here. He has picked up the Ogre Club and the Belt of Strength. Looks like he's going into a Sanjay. Probably going to be picking up a Heaven's Halberd to counteract either the Weaver or the Nakes. Probably better to go on the Weaver because the Nakes does have that Rage. We do see a Helm of the Dominator pick up on Gyrocopter. A bit of an odd choice, I must say, from him with so much magic damage coming out from the Dire side, and you'll usually see a Dominator picked up as a second or third item on a Gyrocopter. Generally, we'll see a BKB, maybe a Drums, and sometimes even a Monkey King bar picked up before the lifesteal, just to abuse that flat cannon damage.
Shadowblade also quite effective. I don't know if you said that.
No, I didn't actually. I did miss that. Shadowblade is quite good for setting up Rocket Barrage hits and just surprising enemies in general.
I just want to talk for a second about the very successful build currently of t.totomoflowmotonight, who has got a 19-minute raw boots and a single iron branch.
But he is doing his job for the team.
He's managed to do that. Well, is he, is the question. Being that his job is to be as tanky as possible and sit in team fights while doing AoE damage, I'm not sure how effectively he's going to do this with only 644 health.
The thing is, you're thinking of the farming level Leshrac, where we're seeing a very obvious 5-position Leshrac here. He's just here for the stun setup, so, well, not the setup, the follow through, so we'll get either a Vortex or a Burrow Strike coming out with the split up to follow. I have seen him hit a few. He's only missed one important one that I've managed to catch, so I don't think we can really blame him for too much, although his score is quite terrible, I must say. 189, not something I want to see
blame
from
him
your
for a
support.
lot. I'm pretty sure I can blame him for a lot. He has accounted for half of the kills of the Radiant team. Half.
Always going in to try and save his teammates with a stun and then just getting caught out by the Rocket Barrage.
Half.
Yes.
He has 650. He has 650 gold right now. I want to see him buy a bracer.
The only problem for this Dire side is the Lone Druid Bear has quite a lot of farm. We see him sitting at the highest net worth in the game with an Armlet phase, It looks like he's got another glove on his bear, so he's going to be building into that maelstrom. An item that I really love on bear.
Yeah, I do personally hate
Alright,
the armor
carry
on the
on.
bear, not because it's ineffective, but just because I think it's broken.
It is actually... it doesn't work in the original Dota. It has been reported on the bug forums, but as far as I know, it's not a main priority. It has been used a lot in pro games, and usually when that happens, such as the broken Quelling Blade illusion damage that was around for a while, it gets fixed. But with Valve being on vacation and obviously it not being a really game-breaking bug, I think it's just being left alone for now.
Yeah, and if you look at the statistics of it, it actually is not all that advantageous for the amount of damage and stats you get, because quite a few of those stats are wasted on the bear that doesn't actually have strength. So
Yeah, they are indeed, and we do see the Maelstrom pick up from the Lone Druid.
yeah, that's going to help assist his farm even more.
Meanwhile,
The
the
Dire
Naix
best
has
knows
an
something about
armlet
that bottom
phase and
tower.
also a mithril hammer. We'll see if he turns that into a BKB for even more magic immune, or if he's going to go for straight damage and hit up the Desolator.
The Dire
He does
disowned
TP
that
bottom, get a nice
tower.
deny on the bottom. So denying a bit of gold there for the Radiant side. Looks like we might have
I'd
some
like to
action
personally
middle.
see him.
We've got the Shadow Demon in invisibility, but a Dire Ward does spot out the Bane, who puts down a sentry and dewards it. But they do know if a Bane's that far up, he's gonna have backup, and I believe it did spot out the bear as well before the ward was taken down. The Weaver here really kind of falling behind in the farm. He's oh, and we see SK going for a D-ward, getting altered by the Bane and going down to the bear damage. He did manage to get that ward though. So, Shadow Demon does have 3 sentries, so we're gonna see a zap in from... Oh, an excellent disruption from the Shadow Demon, managing to get it off. He's gonna stay in here, possibly trying to bait for some to come in, but no, he's gone back. And he's just died. We see his sleep come out on the Weaver, but the follow-up is just too late, and the cooldown is going to hit on absolutely no one. Things coming out, trying to get
Gotta love
that
that
de-warded.
cooldown graphic floating in midair.
We do see positioning around this area. Storm Spirit and Weaver are quite lacking in farm for this stage of the game. 22 minutes in, and Weaver, she's still saving up for the ultimate orb component of her Lincoln Sphere. And we do actually see another D-ward coming out for the Dire, so a lot of sentries and a lot of gold being spent on this top. While that's happening, Lone Druid's pushing out with
This
his
SK
bear.
is getting pinged by... They want to go on this Lone Druid, he hasn't got his bear.
He is going to be too fast for them though. I don't think they're going to be able to catch him.
He is too quick for school.
And the bear is sent off to the side, so he can just do a return in a second. And then we do see the bear come back to the Lone Druid.
Lone Druid is very happy he missed his bear. His only
And
friends.
it does look like after getting the Helm of the Dominator, Gyrocopter's going to go back for a Shadow Blade. He has the Shadow Amulet in his stash at the moment. I really think he should have gone that as the first item, just for the extra damage in early game, and also the surprise of the Invis pop out when sentries aren't a really a big sort of priority. That's the word I was looking for. It's not a big priority at that stage of the game.
Yes, I figured you'd find it eventually.
We do see the Storm Spirit picking up a point booster, so it looks like he is building into that Bloodstone. Only around 1,000 gold off it now if he decides to disassemble those mana boots.
And we're all hoping that he will.
It is a very
Unfortunately,
quick way.
23 minutes into the game, which is a bit late for a Bloodstone.
It is. And meanwhile, Lone Druid solo pushing the bottom lane with his bear. Looks like he's gonna stand off and TP out. He really needs to take his bear back. Because looks like no, he's brought up a Hyperstone. So we are going to see maybe the Mjolnir come out. A lot of people do just pick up the Maelstrom and then go into an Assault Cuirass. Just because the static field can't actually be used by the bear unless you put a mana item up on him. Oh, and we see a smoke up from the dire side. And an infest into the Shadow Shot. Storm Spirit.
The Storm Spirit.
Too many SS's. And we do see Shadow Demon just instantly exploded by the combination of magic damage and burst. On the
No
feast.
doubt.
Pop out. Fest, rather. We see the Lone Druid Bear getting silenced up by the Bloodseeker. A nice neat little trick there, I suppose, giving it a bit more damage. And of course it doesn't need to cast Entangle, so pretty good. But I do believe it disables the return, so it does as well. It actually says that it takes off Entangle. Oh no, but we do see a first hit Entangle.
Just activate, yeah.
And it goes down. A nice ultimate there from the Sand King, taking Gyrocopter right down. We see the lack of a BKB really hurting him. But with the Demonic Purge going out on the Nakes and a Rocket Barrage, he gets them out. And on the other side, the Sand King and Leshrac go down to the Lone Druid. With all of these heroes down, they can really just push down middle. We take a look at buyback. No one has it.
Couldn't hang on to that mid tower.
None of the Dire side has, except for Sand King, but he's not going to be able to protect this alone. So I'm going to say that they're going to take middle racks here before the respawn comes out.
The dire
You can see that bear just absolutely melting the racks with the attack speed and the passive demolish. Extra 40% damage to buildings. Weaver really needs to be careful here because one entangle from the bear is going to be his death. We do see a smoke up from
Very
the
unnecessary call down there.
Yep. We see the Lone Druid getting vortexed up, but he's so tanky. And his bear, I believe, did go down. He's resummoned it. A bit of a mistake here because that bear's going to now be down if he buys back. There won't be much you can do. Gyrocopter trying to escape on the backlines. He has picked up a Shadow Blade, but it's still 3 seconds off cooldown. And the Sand King stun does come out and he's going to go down. They move onto the Shadow Demon, and they will have enough damage to take him down. So quite a back and forth there. They really needed to back out straight away after getting that Rax, with the respawn time as being so close for the Dire side. Yeah, as soon as that Rax fell, just definitely should have backed there. A common mistake that a lot of players make is just to stay too long. Even just getting the melee Rax and backing would have been fine for them. There was no need for them to give away as many kills as they did just there.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
Yeah, they did linger.
We can see the experience going around 5k in favor of the Radiant before dipping down below it again with those deaths. And the gold sitting at just above 7.5k.
Look at this net worth, it's actually fairly spread. With the Dire taking a slight disadvantage.
The problem here is the Nakes, which is their main focus of farm, is countered by quite a few heroes on the Radiant side, with the Lone Druid Entangle, the Bane's Fiend Grip, the Demonic Purge coming out from the Shadow Demon. He just won't be able to do much in team fights unless he either buys back or those spells are wasted on another hero. Along with the Enfeeble going through Rage. I believe it is dispelled by it if it's on beforehand, but if he's in Rage and Enfeeble is cast, the damage reduction still occurs. And Nakes did pick up a Desolator with that hammer.
Always a good pickup, especially late in the game.
We see a smoke up on Shadow Demon, also one on the track.
I'd love to see the Nakes jumping into this Storm Spirit and going aggressive.
They have only done that once so far, and it did result in a successful kill on the Shadow Demon. It looks like they're going to go for it again.
Perhaps hearing what I'm saying. Nakes, if you're listening to the stream, good work.
I'm going to keep my camera on the Storm Spirit for the moment, because I believe he's going to be where the action is.
And there's a bait.
We do see him come out.
Oh, no,
Nakes staying in for now, no, and he pops out just in time. The blink in initiate. The blink dagger, of course, picked up by Sand King after that last fight went the way of Dire. And Bane sleeps himself, but it's just going to be a remnant kill there. Another fight going the way of the Dire, a 2-for-1 trade. The Leshrac dying yet again, sitting at a miserable 920 net worth. This is a poor Leshrac, even by support standards. And we can really attribute that to his 11 deaths.
But at least he's got something more than his boots.
He does indeed.
Yes, it's sentries and a smoke, but...
observers there. Yep.
Nothing that gives him any stats or anything.
And the Lone Druid did go for the Assault Cuirass, so that's actually completed up on the bear. He's gone the Assault Cuirass before Mjolnir, which I do agree with. A good move from the bear there. From now, I'd like to see him
pick up the Meow Meow now.
The Meow Meow. Actually, I don't think it's really necessary. I'd rather that he went for an item like a Basher into an Abyssal Blade, so they're able to get even more lockdown on their nakes.
Does give that increased attack speed though.
It does, but at the moment with the armlet, Maelstrom and Assault Cuirass, I don't think attack speed will help him as much as some damage and lockdown will.
I don't know. More attack speed, more chance of that entangle.
Yeah, except at the point that he is with the attack damage, with the attack speed rather, he's not going to gain as much as basically a DPS increase, and the Basher also has a chance to proc along with the entangle. So we may see even more coming out with the attack speed he has and a second source of lock down. And the Heaven's Halberd is completed on the Bloodseeker. It looks like he's also going for what appears to be around a 35-minute Force Staff. They do go into the Roshan Pit. Storm Spirit spots it out with his Remnant, which of course, if you do not know, gains flying vision when it's put down. A very good skill to abuse when people are over a cliff or even uphill, because it does see up there.
Storm Spirit falls a little short.
And the Aegis up on the Lone Druid now. Oh, and I think my pizza might be here. I'll be right back.
And while he gets his pizza, we're going to see some pushing on mid lane. All 5 of both teams here. There's pinks coming out on this Bloodseeker. They want to go at him. And they do. The blink initiation by the epicenter. Going in, and the Bloodseeker goes down. Cooldown does not hit on that Lifestealer. Entangle hits on him. Very good. Storm Spirit comes in, but he's got no mana left. He's going to be hit by that bear looking for an entangle.
2 down.
And he takes him down without it. Weaver's looking for that Lone Druid, but he does still have his Aegis up, so he's not too concerned. It is going to pop the Aegis though. The bear's still up, still attacking. He's going to turn into his ultimate form, manages to make it. Bear still going on the Weaver. But he can't find him, no detection.
Oh, sorry about that. Had to go answer the door for the pizza.
That's right, you missed the team fight, went slightly in the favour of the Dire team.
The Dire team?
Guess what's happening to Dire?
We do see gold still going the way of the Radiant, and experience has gone up. Lone Druid manages to get the bottom tower there. Weaver has completed the Lincolns, but an entangle comes out. Oh, the time-lapse manages to get him out. The bear's going to go down, and with so many zaps coming out, they take down the bear. And the... Oh, and he goes down. The Aegis spent in the last team fight. So that's a solo... Well, not a solo kill, but
for all those watching.
Lone Druid. Good. We see a smoke up from the Radiant side. They're going to come down here, but Bane was not part of that smoke, and he'll probably spotted out by that Dire Ward. He will be now, definitely. So they see Bane rotating towards middle.
Bane rotating, in fact, towards bottom lane.
He does.
Oh no, he's going to come up middle through the side.
And the Rupture comes off on the Sand King, but he goes into invisibility. There's no way... Oh, and a Sentry's dropped down. Nax is here to try and help, but the Sand King does go down, and the Bloodseeker force stuffs himself out. Weaver comes in from the side, and Storm Spirit with a big jump in. That is going to be the death of the Bloodseeker. Open wounds coming out onto the Bane, and that's a double kill going the way of the Dire. Really fighting back into this game. And a call down hitting on nothing. Of course, with that early Rax though,
hurting this,
middle creep.
the sentries are really hurting this SK. Not an item that's usually picked up against him because people generally don't care that much if the SK has gone into his sand.
And we do see Druid pick up the bash. So he's put it on his hero. I would prefer that he put it on his bear and swapped out the stout shield. At this point of the game, the damage block isn't that great, especially when you're running a Maelstrom Assault Cuirass bear. And a bit of a tactical penis coming out.
Tactical penises being drawn on the map by the Dire side.
They want to dig
showing
in
their
middle.
intention to thrust into the Radiant base.
Powerfully. Oh, and an early entangle on the Lifestealer. But you can see what I was saying earlier about the bear. He just auto-attacks the bear and he's actually gaining the health back. He really needs to follow up with more hero damage here. A beautiful blink in and ultimate from the Sand King. We've got a 1-for-1 trade so far with the Bloodseeker going down and the Leshrac going down. But I really have to say that engagement favours
only counts,
the Dire.
only counts for half a hero at this point in the game.
Exactly. And this middle tower will easily go down. Shadow Demon trying for a little cheeky deny there, but mistiming it. And Weaver is hopefully... Oh, he gets a critical strike. But he disrupts the secondary hit. Excellent use of the disruption there. It looks like for now Dire's going to back off. I gotta say that the game's really swung in favour of the Dire, even being a rack down. The last few team fights have really gone their way. But as we know, this late into a game with such a stacked lone druid, even one team fight going the way of the Radiant, if those Dire heroes don't have buyback, that is going to be game.
Yeah, we got this next bomb on the Storm Spirit, just waiting to go in on someone and get a pick off. Looks like they might find Bane. No,
The Storm Spirit with 10 charges on his Bloodstone as well as a Voidstone picked up. You won't be afraid to go for those long range initiation.
He's going to see this lone druid. Not going to go on him, they're heading...
Picks
so
up the regen rune.
Get the regen.
Probably
which
the
you can, of
best
course,
rune
use
that
while
you can
he's,
get.
we can of course use it while in that ball lightning form as well.
I think for a team fight to really go in the way of the Radiant, we need to see a gem picked up by the Lone Druid. They can't rely on the sentries and the Weaver just running around. They need to really lock them down. We see the Lone Druid retreating into the jungle. Looks like he's going to try and push out this bottom lane, give some momentum.
And there's a smoke coming up on the Dire at the top there. Probably not going to find anyone though with the positioning of the Radiant.
And they also run right past a sentry ward, so they would have spotted that dust out if they were paying attention to the minimap.
Does the sentry ward reveal dust?
Yes, it does. They only count as invisible units. That's why often you'll see the top Chinese teams place a sentry ward down in the river area here to stop their mid lane being ganked early on if they have a strong roaming offensive tri-lane.
But we're going to assume that neither of these are top-level Chinese teams.
Oh, no way, man. I think that this Leshrac is Chuan in disguise.
It does fit Chuan's playstyle. I'm expecting him to suddenly start carrying this entire game, having up to this point been a troll.
Yep, definitely. We do see the level 10.5 coming out from Leshrac. A very important level. And a bit of level 1 lightning spam coming out.
This is definitely where you want to be at 40 minutes in on a Leshrac.
We do see the Nake still in the Storm Spirit.
And a Bracer. Yeah, he has been inside that Storm Spirit for an excessively long time. He's been in there longer than Hugh Hefner's been inside women.
Storm Spirit. This is actually hurting the farm of Nake's quite a bit. He could be, although he does still gain experience while infested, he doesn't gain gold. So a lot of
he's in it for
farm
the
being
long
lost
haul,
by Nakes.
apparently.
Nakes also almost
Oh, he's
finishing
just
up the
popped out.
assault cuirass.
He's
Yeah, so
just
we've
popped
got
out
some
the farm.
some push going on from the bear. You can see what we're saying about the just the damage output. Oh, we see a beautiful ultimate in from the Sand King, catching 2 heroes and the bear. And this Nakes is just going to be able to hit this gyro down. Another team fight so far going in favor of the Dire. The Storm Spirit does go down, but they should be able to get this Lone Druid. No, they're unable to take him down before the TP out. So it ends up being a 2-for-2 trade, but the Dire does take some damage on their mid towers due to that middle racks being down. We take a quick look at the experience graph. Dire had almost clawed it back to even, but with a couple of kills, it's gone back up to around 2.5k in favor for experience, and also still sitting pretty stably at around 7.5k gold advantage. But really a lot of that on the Radiant side is attributed to the bear. The Dire have a lot better spread of gold on their 3 core heroes, the Nakes, Weaver, and Storm Spirit, whereas the Gyro is decently farmed. Oh, and actually no, I take that back. The Bloodseeker is now just behind the Storm Spirit. But I find his effectiveness in team fights has really been minimal. If he's using that silence on the bear for extra damage, it's really kind of not using the silence to its best effect, which would be to cast it on the Storm Spirit or the Sand King. See again the silence coming out on the bear, and the Rupture as well. Lone Druid going into ultimate form, and it's going to be another death for Lethrak.
Somebody's cooking.
Meanwhile, Storm Spirit is able to get away. The Roshan is coming up in probably about 3 or 4 seconds now, and the next TP's out of the back lines. With that, we see pings coming out on the bottom tower, but the lane's already pushed out quite far by the creeps. It looks like Lone Druid might try to fight through the backdoor regen, and he does manage to. So the bottom rack's now exposed for the Dire side, and we really see the power of this Lone Druid push coming out.
Yeah, he's really taking him up the back door there.
We see Dire milling around Roshan. They know how important this is. If Lone Druid gets it, it's going to make their time a lot harder. And conversely, if they manage to get it up on the Storm Spirit or the Nakes, it's going to make defending a lot easier for them, not having to rely so much on those buybacks. Very dangerous play from Storm here. He actually buys up an ultimate orb, which only leaves him with around 200 gold, so he won't have enough for buyback if a fight goes sour. Really, at this stage of the game, especially with the Lone Druid being the main carry, you really need to keep buyback gold. We do see a jump in from the Storm Spirit onto the bear, and the Lone Druid goes down very quickly to the gank power. The Weaver and
yeah, with that bear taking out,
this is going to be a free Roshan for Dire.
Storm Spirit, there's not much they can do.
And with that Storm Spirit, he TP's back to defend the middle lane, but without mana, not going to be doing much here. Lone Druid does buy back, because they have seen Dire go into Roshan, but I think they're going to take it down before he can really do anything. Especially with the Desolator on the Nakes.
The Dire took down old
And the Aegis goes on to the Weaver.
Yeah, Desolator, a very solid play. A very solid item, the old Deso.
We do see the Weaver being very close to completing her data list. So we're going to see even larger crits coming out. It does not affect the second hit of Geminate, but it does of course apply to the first one there. We also see a Veil picked up by Sand King, a nice decision by him. If you don't know, a Veil will actually increase the magic damage of your ultimate more than an Aghanim Scepter will, if you manage to time it and hit all the pulses, which of course is very situational, so we don't see many low-level pubbers pick it up on Sand King. But it will also greatly increase the damage done by the Storm Spirit, which would be one of the contributing factors to why this Lone Druid and Bear are going down so quickly in fights. We do see a Hood of Defiance and Headdress picked up by the Bloodseeker, so it looks like he's going to be going Pipe to try and counteract the magic damage of Leshrac, Storm Spirit, and Sand King. I'm really needing that Pipe probably a bit sooner while they were going uphill to take off that ultimate damage from the Sand King coming in. He has done quite a good job of positioning those so far.
Yes, all of those things that you said and more.
And with the buyback from Lone Druid, he's still sitting at around 3.5k gold. He can finish up his Abyssal in about 300 gold with his buyback being on cooldown. I would like to see him pick that up. It isn't available for another 3 minutes, and I think he can easily get an Abyssal and farm up enough for buyback in that time. It does look like they're going to pressure that bottom tower and force a TP back from the Weaver here. And the other heroes are just going to walk up to defend it. Oh, and my damn kitten's kneading my stomach. Ah, so much pain. Damn little fluffy thing. We see the Assault Cuirass finished up on the Nakes. Oh. And meanwhile...
I'd really like to see a Divine Rapier on this Lone Druid. I think it's the time. It's time for Divine.
Time to get
Sitting on
Divine.
262 last hits.
Storm Spirit's still around 2,000 gold off getting a Scythe. For the Gyrocopter, we really have seen no item progression. He's picked up a Talisman of Evasion and the BKB, I do suppose, but that has been to little effect in these fights, as Nex is just taking him down with his superior auto attack damage. He is looking to go for a Butterfly, I'd assume, with his Talisman pickup. They may be going for another Heaven's Halberd, but I think the evasion would do him much better, as well as the attack damage going out with Flat Cannon. And the Lone Druid has picked up that Abyssal, so it's sitting on his main hero currently.
Very disappointingly not going for the Divine Rapier.
We do see a Bane with an Invisor, and it looks like they're going to try and go on the... but he forgets about the Lincolns and wastes his ultimate. He's slept under, but on the back line, Bloodseeker's takes out Leshrac with Rupture. Another very good ultimate from Sand King there. Next does go down to the Rocket Barrage. Storm Spirit does come back in. No, I meant Nate. He bought back.
Did Nake's buy back?
No, he had the Aegis. No, he bought back. No, what the hell happened? Maybe I do mean Lone Druid. And the Aegis is popped on the Weaver.
It's on its own team.
No, you see, I saw the
Radiant's mid tower's
the
getting banged
kill
up.
on Leshrac, I think it was. Then
Looking for me?
Lifestealer used Infest right at that moment as well. So there was a giant spray of blood right where he was. I think.
I see.
I think. I would have to watch the replay.
Righto.
But as you can see, with that team fight, the experience is actually going in the Dire's favor now. We've got a 5k advantage to the Dire, as well as the gold still being in the Radiant's favor, only 7.5k, but as I said before, it's all on the Lone Druid.
Structures now.
His buyback does come off cooldown in about 5 seconds, but he won't have money for it. Oh, and we do see the Demonic Perch coming out, and the Brain Sap kills off the Nakes. An excellent pick off there. Gyrocopter goes on the BKB, but he's not going to be able to really
Radiant's
achieve
bottom
much here.
tower's seen better
Nice
days.
little stun there from the Leshrac going up the hill, and then he's just going to have to back off.
Here I am. Radiant's bottom
Oh,
A nice-
ain't a pretty
Excellent
sight
little ball
right now.
lightning.
A nice little play by the
that-
Storm Spirit.
Through that rocket.
Still a very
Trouble
close
brewing
game.
at
They are
Radiant's
a
bottom
racks
tower.
down in middle. But I think they still have a chance at winning this if a few more team fights can go their way.
Where's the party?
The problem, of course, for the Radiant team is all that farm is sitting on the Lone Druid. So if he gets taken down, they will lose the fight.
You will indeed.
Whereas when Nikes is down, even though Nikes is down, this Dire team can still operate without him.
Definitely. We do
With
see
the
the
exception
pipe
of Leshrac.
finished up on the Bloodseeker, however, so hopefully that can be more of a decider in the next fight. I really don't agree with this Lone Druid walking around in range form a lot of the time. He's got to be very careful of a long range initiation from the Storm Spirit. He does switch to melee
Yes,
mode.
this is very reminiscent of the famous game with Juicy just the other day, walking around in range for
And it looks like Lone Druid's going to try and backdoor the tower, because of course there are creeps in the middle. Oh, look at the Rax melt. They do have Fortify, but choosing not to use it. For some reason, DotA don't Fortify, and that's going to be the death of the melee Rax. I think for this, Radiant is going to pay. Team fight definitely going in favor of the DotA. The Druid's trying to TP out. Will they have enough? They do have enough damage to take him out. Lone Druid, does he have buyback? No, he doesn't. He's around 700 gold off. But really, I think with the 2 melee Raxes down, there's going to be too much creep power going into the base. They're not going to be able to capitalize on that successful team fight. And will instead have to defend their lane.
70 seconds still. A good 70 seconds still to utilize that before the Lone Druid's back up.
It's true. I don't think they'll be able
to farm and push out those lanes. They won't be able to take anything, but they will be able to push those lanes out.
I'm actually quite surprised that Radiant haven't denied their top tower. It's been sitting in deny range probably for the past 20 or 30 minutes now. It's
very confident.
It's kind of been sitting there. Just a bag of money waiting for the DotA to come and pick it up.
Looking at that Radiant Tower, something I've never noticed. Is it just me, or does it look like it has 2 screaming golden faces?
Whereabouts?
If you look on the actual picture, when you click on it, it's like hero icon.
Oh yeah, it does. It's like going.
Yeah, that's quite creepy for something.
And that will be the death of the Leshrac. a little rupture force staff in from the Bloodseeker. But the Weaver does take out the middle tower, but that's all they'll be able to gain from that. Roshan does have around 1 minute 40 seconds until he respawns, and I think that's really going to dictate the next team fight. They have been going in DotA's favor, but if we do see an Aegis on the Lone Druid, even though he's not the best hero to put an Aegis on, as he does come back in the range form, the bear is still alive. When the Aegis is popped, the bear is still alive and can still go around. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword there. Looks like they might go for a jump in on the Lone Druid. Storm Spirit waiting in the wings. He does have his scythe up and a 14 charge Bloodstone. And he is revealed by the bear. No, he just goes in for a quick zap and Remnant. Sand King does go in though, and there we see it. He's caught in the range form. A nice defensive disruption. An amazing play and save from the Shadow Demon. Defensive disruption coming out as he's changing into ultimate form. With the open wounds and an excellent stun by Leshrac. He's basically just won the game for his team there. With that double split earth on the heroes, that's going to be an easy mid-rax here.
Spectacular plays from this very underleveled and underfarmed.
It can show you, even if you are feeding, even if you are underfarmed, you can still have a massive impact on the game just by using one skill. You do see a double buyback out from the Bane or Shadow Demon, but I don't think that he can really
clarify your statement there.
What?
I'm going to clarify your statement there. You can still have a massive impact on the game as long as you have an AoE stun.
And you also see Leshrac instantly melting to the Rupture Force Staff combo again. And it looks like the DotA is actually going to back off. Apparently too afraid of the Bloodseeker, Bane, and Shadow Demon. I really don't agree with that.
Remembering that the Nax is up top farming and is not part of the team fight, so probably a safe
the push in, getting that melee Rax earlier meant that they had to defend the lanes, I would imagine. But the Roshan is up. So we're gonna look at this, and the Radiants don't have any wards at all.
Radiant's top tower's been disowned.
This Roshan's gonna go down in a couple of seconds.
And I imagine Lifestealer's going to be taking that. Weaver sending out the spawn just to check.
No, Weaver picks it up, although there's still cheese there. Next really should pick that up.
Next grabbing that cheese.
Yep.
That delicious green cheese.
We see an ultimate orb pick up on the Weaver. Possibly going for a Manta style to Manta out of the silence from Bloodseeker, or even going for a Skadi. I guess we'll see with his next few item pickups.
Possibly.
It looks like he does,
He's disassembled.
he disassembles his Tranquils and changes them to power trades, because at this stage of the game, Tranquils offers you nothing.
Except for lower movement speed. It does offer you that.
If you do get hit the 3 times, yes, which he of course will be in any team fight.
Of course.
So this bear has had no item progression since finishing off the Abyssal Blade. And again, he is still running around in range form. We'll see if this can be taken out with a bit of a sneaky push from the Radiant, but I think killing the Rax is the only way they're going to be able to win this game. If they don't manage to push it down, they're going to be taken out in these team fights. A quick item check. We do see that the Gyrocopters finished up the Butterfly. We do have the Pipe on Bloodseeker, which I did call before. Apart from that, there's not much progression. The Bane is still sitting on level 15 with barely any farm at all. Leshrac in a similar position. And we do see some drawing coming out from the Dire side. Looks like they're going to go in for a bit of a backstab kill here. The Weaver sets it up with the Swarm, providing some vision. And the Naix is inside the Storm Throat, so we're going to look for a zap in here. Tanking starts channeling up his ultimate, and he blinks in and catches 3 of the heroes in a Burrow Strike. Lone Druid goes down instantly, and now the rest of the team should be easy pickings rather, not slim pickings. But with that bonus movement speed, and an excellent force stuff away from the Burrow Strike.
Rough day for Dire's bottom
A
ranks.
lucky escape from the Bloodseeker. But the bottom rain track does go down.
Farewell to
And the Weaver is getting just absolutely demolished by these creeps. So we do see the range racks go down. As I said before, the way that the Radiant will win this is through creep pushing. If they're able to get enough momentum going through to a lane before a team fight, and we see Lone Druid maybe pick up a Boots of Travels, I think that's the way that they'll win the game.
They are very sensible to be pushing this top lane, though. It's going to be the easiest push, and it's the only way they're going to get a Rax.
Here I am.
Oh, and some very brave positioning there from the Bane.
Saves that
A
Bane.
buyback from the Gyrocopter, and Naix has been demonic purged. We see Rupture come out, which is mitigated by the Rage. The cooldown, the Pipe is popped off by the Bloodseeker. Goes in for 1 hit, but then goes back. The Feast now inside the Shadow Shaman. They've left the SK as the sacrificial lamb. We do see the creeps pushing in. They have taken down the T4 towers, and the Ancient is exposed, already taking some damage. The Shrek has had to teleport back and use his ultimate to take off those creeps, and sitting at 900 health. If he gets caught out at all, he's going to go down. Really, this game balancing on a knife's edge. They're going to need to at least leave Leshrac, possibly another hero to defend, even if they win a team fight. So it's even though the Dire, I believe, is quite far ahead in experience now, over 10k, and the gold still going 2.5k in the way of the Radiant, but even with all of these wins in team fights, just already having those 2 lanes of racks, it's going to be, I think, too hard for them to push out.
Yeah, it's a little bit too late.
Exactly, we do see the pings coming out from the Lone Druid. It looks like they're going to go for a backdoor. Even if they just make the Fortify go off here, it'll be well worth it. So there we go, the Fortify goes off. He should really just retreat from here, because all of the heroes are there.
Doesn't look like they have the sense to do it.
They stay there, and the Bear's going to be taken down very quickly unless it's taken out. Fall down, and the Bane... Oh no, he gets a sleep off on the Weaver, but we've got the top tower down to about a third.
Ultimate.
Indeed, it looks like it was...
He tried to use his ultimate on that Weaver.
Again, he really needs to learn to hit him with something first. And again, the Ancient is getting attacked by creeps. Either Nightmare, Brain Sap, or Enfeeble. He has 4 active skills. He's got plenty to disable it with other than his ultimate.
Oh, 4 active skills. That's just far too many to pay attention to all at one time. That's 4 whole buttons to press.
And we do see a sentry being placed outside by the Dire, de-warding the sentry already put down by the Radiant.
Illusion.
As the game approaches 1 hour in duration, we have reached the fabled ultra late game stage where it all depends on if you have buyback. We also see the Boots of Travel picked up on the Bloodseeker, so even if a teamfight does go their way, if they do get a bit overzealous with the push and say, we need to go all mid, Bloodseeker can TP back, past them and run into their base. And if the Lone Druid is up there, he can actually Boots of Travel to that bear. And Lone Druid with the Boots of Travel as well, so it looks like they have picked up on the call and are looking to just end it by killing off that final Rax and gaining Mega Creeps.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Lone Druid place this Stout Shield on his bear, and maybe upgrade that Orb of Venom to an Orb of Skadi. Some quite low level items still sitting on that bear.
He just doesn't have the farm for it at the moment. He's sitting at 14k gold and farming up that buyback is much more important. At the moment he doesn't have it because if he does die he only has 144 in a reliable gold, so the money lost on death will take him underneath that buyback level. You see a double damage picked up on the bear. The Aegis, of course.
Picked up on the Druid, actually.
Yeah, that's what I meant by bear. Not the Lone Druid's bear, but the bear himself.
You can pick it up on the bear himself.
You can. So, yep, we see the Lone Druid bear going in, and it looks like the Lone Druid. No, what's he planning to do with this?
I was think he's gonna Boots of Travel into it, but.
No, but he runs it almost to the fountain. A bit of an odd position there, and they're gonna be able to take down this bear. Maybe not.
He's just gonna run through.
Oh no, we see the open wounds coming out, and the bear does go down. So that's gonna force a resummon here. He should do it straight away, so it's off cooldown as soon as possible.
Which he has, yes.
But if that bear does go down again, that will be probably around a minute if they decide to push here. They may back off just because they know that bear's down, and a single mistake now will be the end of the game.
A bizarre move there.
I'm not really sure why he did it. Maybe to bait out some teleports and get stop them farming the lane, so another lane would push in.
It's possible.
It would be extremely next level play of them to pull something out of the hat like that.
Oh, that's just like my famous complex baits.
Just
Where it
look
looks
like you're
I'm just out
dying.
of position and not knowing what I'm doing, but I in fact cause a team wipe. Sometimes even theirs.
So we do see the Manta style picked up by the Weaver as well as Boots of Travel, and the Aghanim Scepter picked up on the Sand King, so Ultra Mega Super Ultimates coming out from him. We do see a lot of milling around the Roshan pit, but it's not going to be up for another minute and a half. Pretty essential to take Roshan timer at this point. Things coming out from the Dire. They know everyone's missing from lanes that are pushing in, so they know they're going to be in that kind of area. They do disrupt the Lone Druid illusion, so it's going to look like there's a Lone Druid there if there's 3 of them. Let's see if they take the bait. They start off on one illusion and the other 2 disruption illusions just time out. And we do see a double Boots of Travel to top lane, but also we see Weaver coming up. The rest of the team without TP scrolls. There is a TP on the Leshrac and the Naix, but none on the Storm Spirit. He really should be carrying a TP at this stage of the game, even if he does have those long-range zaps.
So he has 11 charges on his Bloodstone and the Panda Scythe. He doesn't need a TP. He is a TP.
So Roshan will be up in around 10 seconds more time, and the ping's coming out from the Dire. This Roshan is going to be very, very important for them.
Dire's top tower, you know the drill.
Roshan
surprisingly, no
coming
wards
back
placed
up
to protect that Roshan.
right now. So we see the Roshan come out. I'd really like to see Naix get inside the Storm Spirit and have him just ball lightning in, just to circumvent any possible wards.
At the moment, so
There are no wards, but they don't know that, so it would have been a lot safer for them to do that. But instead, Naix just walks in and he'll be able to solo this Roshan in 10-15 seconds. Lone Druid is farming up the camps, and it looks like he's not going to notice it at all. We do see Bloodseeker coming in. Did he drop below the threshold? No, but he is spotted out. Four-staffs him up a hill. He ruptures the Nakes. He's going to try running, but he should know that it doesn't affect the rage. We do see Fiend's grip coming out on the Nakes. Oh, and another excellent ultimate in from the Sand King. It is a triple kill, and the Bloodseeker does buy back, but you see the Lone Druid already at top lane. I'd really like to see Bloodseeker TP to that there. Roshan is taken down in the meantime. We see Cheese taken by the Shadow... Why do I keep on saying that? Cheese taken by the Storm Spirit. And the
Shadow Shaman Spirit.
And the Ancient taking a lot of damage from the creeps pushing in at the moment. That, basically sticking around to kill that Roshan. Down.
Yeah, not sure why the Nake's backed up there in the middle of it.
I'm over here. The Dire's Ancient ain't gonna last.
We do see Lone Druid hiding here. With Fortify down after that last push, I think what he's going to do is summon the bear and just go for a backdoor when he sees the lanes are pushed out enough. Weaver's boots will come off cooldown in 3 seconds. No, but he does TP back to base. And buys a BKB. That will help a lot with the initiation, the excellent initiation I might add, coming in from the Sand King all game.
Yes, it sure will. It is, however, not going to help him against that Nake's, who is just going to wail on him.
Nake's does have the Aegis as well.
Terrible teeth.
So even being 2x down, we see him pushing out quite effectively. Oh, and the Sentry comes down, but the Bane does learn from his mistakes and brain saps before Fiend's grip, but the Weaver is able to get out of range of that Sentry. Again, I would really love to see the Lone Druid pick up a gem. I think it would do amazing
wonders. With 6 gold on this Nakes, do you think he might give us the pleasure of the old rapier?
I don't think he will. They're not behind by enough for it to be an all-in kind of thing. And if he does die and drop it... The problem is, what's he going to drop for it? He might drop... Probably the best thing to drop for him would be the armlet.
Yeah, at this point.
But I don't see him really making that change, just to get a Divine Rapier that can be taken away from him. And if it is taken away, that would almost certainly be the game. See, Weaver coming in with a double damage. The Lone Druid's going to go down extremely fast, and he does TP out.
But Weaver has nothing.
Weaver with no MKB, just sitting on the Demon Edge for now, isn't able to stop that TP off with the stun. We do see Bloodseeker giving some momentum to that bottom lane. They're going to need to go and defend that Ancient again.
That's a big push coming up.
Experience 10k still in the way of the Dire, and gold still 2.5k in favor of the Radiant, but really at this stage of the game that's as even as you're really going to see. Lone Druid again caught without buyback. Lone Druid also picking up a Vlad.
7th minute.
Vlad's picked up by the Lone Druid.
Yes, that is a 67-minute Vlad's.
Getting up a bit of lifesteal, but a bit more importantly and a bit oddly, he sacrifices his buyback to get a Vladimir's offering. If he goes down here and he doesn't have the buyback available, I don't think it's going to be very good for the Radiant at all.
It does provide a lot of longevity though with that lifesteal. And it applies to his bear if it's near enough.
It is. I think at the moment the bonus damage is more beneficial for them because it does apply to the Gyrocopter as well, who is quite stacked at this stage. Going on around 300 a hit. If they manage to do that all in all and 1000 OE, it's a lot of damage. I do manage to take the T2, and an excellent initiation from the Sand King again. Takes down 2. This might be the turn they need, but you can see the Lone Druid going in for the backdoor. He's taken down 1. And he's going for the racks. He's fighting through the backdoor regen. No Fortify available, and he takes it down. Bash on the bear, but the Abyssal cancels out the TP. He really needs to go for that range racks. He would have been able to take it down, I believe.
He gets the tangle from the bear.
Distilled.
And the Bloodseeker takes down the Leshrac. Meanwhile, in the base of the Radiant, we can see all the heroes coming out, but the Gyrocopter buys back, and the Storm Spirit is going to have to back from this, even with a Cheese and a Scythe and the backup from the Sand King. They really shouldn't fight this. I think it would have been worth it for the Lone Druid to get Mega Creeps
There's a
there.
rocket coming in.
And the Lone Druid dies anyway. The Swarm picks him out. A giant blunder. He doesn't have buyback, and he's going to be down for a minute and a half.
Used on this Storm Spirit really needs to pop out right now. Go Storm. Go Sun.
Look at him go! Jesus Christ! Jumps almost the entirety of the map.
Where's the party?
Just the distance covered in that single jump.
Imagine the damage that would have come out on the other end.
And just the single range racks. An excellent attempt from the Lone Druid, but I think when you're being chased by a Lifestealer and a Weaver, you really just have to go for the secondary racks. I think he could have got it. Fortify was down. It's only a 1,500 health with, you know, very low armor building with such a stacked bear. I honestly think he could have got it there. We'll see if this comes back to haunt them as they gather around middle lane.
I don't know if it's just me, but I think the overload charge on this Storm Spirit looks bigger than usual with all of that zapping around.
You see the T3 in mid going down. And a cooldown by the gyro just to clear off the Mantra illusion. It does have an extremely low cooldown, so it's not that much of a waste. I'd really like to see him Shadow Blade initiate into one of these fights. I haven't really seen him use it except as a defensive item.
Oh, there's a Divine Rapier we haven't noticed on the Weaver.
Oh, and it looks like he might go down. He's silenced up. He's gonna go down in one more hit. No, but he turns around and gets the kill.
He's regened it back up.
How did we miss the Divine Rapier pickup?
I don't know. I don't think we had thought he had that much fire.
Oh, and the Weaver gets disrupted. This might be the death of him with the Divine Rapier. He kills himself.
It does.
The Divine Rapier is on the ground. It's picked up by the Bloodseeker. But is the Bloodseeker going to go down? No. No, he's not. This is... I gotta say, this is going to be a good game. The Divine Rapier lost by the Weaver.
He can come in. And they have vision of him. He's going down because of the Bloodseeker there.
And a Ghost Scepter picked up by the Lone Druid. An excellent pickup. If he goes in and Ghost Scepters himself, his bear can still attack the racks.
It sure can.
I hadn't even thought of that. That's an amazing pickup from the Lone Druid.
That Divine Rapier giving him a total attack damage.
With no buyback on the Nakes, no buyback on the Leshrac, no buyback on the Weaver. This is game over. Definitely game over. Shout out to Bigglesworth. Orange on the SD. That micro with the disruption units making that drop. Look at this. They take the racks and throw away their lives. No, he gets away. Is Leshrac going to be able to pick him up? He does!
Just cleaning up. Oh.
Leshrac gets the double kill, but you can see the the Bloodseeker with the Divine Rapier, the Gyro now with the Monkey King bar. They just take down the team, and this is the good game. Amazing game here. A 72.5 minute game.
Structure's looking for
Truly unfortunate. The Divine Rapier there definitely getting rid of any chance that the Dire team had, and they had an excellent push going.
What an amazing game
I
there.
say that is entirely Weaver's fault.
Next level throws.
Wow.
That's what I was saying about the Divine Rapier. They just weren't so far behind that I think that it was necessary, and ultimately the Bloodseeker cleaned up because of it.
And I'm gonna say that Sand King MVP.
Definitely, the Sand King, amazing play, amazing initiations. Big shout out to Five there for his play.
Oh.
Just incredible all-round play for him. Every initiation was perfect, getting multi-hero burrow strikes to go along with the epicenters. Just really, really good play, and a shame that they couldn't come through with the win there. A 58 to 51 kill game. That's 109 kills in this
And
72
unfortunately,
minute
if we
game.
look at this, I can't help but feeling it may have been better if Leshrac had have, say, sat in the fountain about 10 kills ago, and not let Lone Druid farm him.
Yeah, definitely MVP of the game going to 5. Honorable mention to Shadow Demon there for the micro on the disrupted Weaver illusions at the end to force him to drop out that Divine Rapier.
And that's GG.
Very good
Bye-bye.
game indeed. I am going to go off and eat some delicious pizza. So